Hi, this is Greg in Pensacola, Florida. I'd like to welcome you to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to do a Kickstarter preview of the World's Overrun 3D Printed Tabletop Terrain Kickstarter by Eric Askue. On the table in front of me here are the printed test pieces for this Kickstarter, and we're going to zoom down into this a little bit in just a minute, and we'll go over each one of the pieces from the pledge. But I'm happy to say that as of about 20 minutes ago, this Kickstarter has met its initial funding goal, so it's going to move into the stretch goal stages from here on out, and he has some really great stuff planned that I'll talk about. But first, a little background on the Kickstarter. I met Eric through a friend of mine here in town named Kirk. Kirk is the owner of Collapse Industries. He does high-end resin miniatures, tabletop stuff, and things like that. Busts. So these high-end, professional-looking busts and things. His company produces that, and Eric happens to be the lead artist. So I watched their podcast that they do on Kirk's YouTube channel, and Eric and I happened to be talking one day, and I said, hey, because he does some amazing stuff, and I'll pop a picture up here of one of his sculpts that's produced by Collapse Industries, and also put a link down so you can see the type of stuff that Collapse does. But Eric's the lead artist with Kirk, and so I was talking to him and I said, man, you got some really nice stuff. Have you ever thought about doing a Kickstarter? So we talked a little bit, and then a day or two went by, and Kirk said Eric wanted to talk to me some more about the Kickstarter. So we got together one night and we talked for about 2-3 hours on Google Hangouts, because I believe he's up in Connecticut, and I showed him some of the other terrain Kickstarters, like the War Layer, the Printable Scenery, Terrain for Print, just all these great 3D printed tabletop terrain Kickstarters that are coming out. And I'm like, the work that he does, he is a digital artist by trade. He's got a Bachelor's of Fine Art degree in 2000. He taught digital art for 6 years, and he's worked with ZBrush since 2002 to 2003. And if you've ever picked up ZBrush, I have a copy of ZBrush Core here that I'm trying to learn. It's something else, and to watch the way he works in that was absolutely amazing. And then I kind of showed, hey, we like that type of stuff here in the tabletop terrain. So he said throw out an idea. So the idea was a planet, a founder's planet. Long abandoned, some lost technology on this planet. This planet was overrun by a high fleet type race, and it was rediscovered, and so that's just kind of a general setting that to get the initial thoughts going. So that's why when you're looking down at the table right now, you're seeing some organic looking things and some hard technology looking items on here also. So we batted that around, and he said, hey, you want to collaborate on this? So Kirk, Eric, and I, we collaborated on this Kickstarter. This is all Eric's Kickstarter. My part for this is I get a commercial license to print this stuff, and we'll talk about the commercial licenses in just a minute too on the Kickstarter. So, but this was awesome to work on. It was really good. And once, about a month, maybe just a little over a month now, once he locked down the flow, the actual workflow for 3D printing, for taking from ZBrush, we're printing it in a resin, like an SLA printer type environment, over to an FDM environment, and he got that workflow down. These pieces are coming out at a blistering pace. So I just want to say it was great, running in to him and finding Eric, and this is just the beginning. This is the first Kickstarter. The pieces that are all right here, these files are ready to go. So you got the core set. There may be a couple little tweaks. Matter of fact, we talked an hour ago on Hangouts, and we're talking about this tower, and right on the fly we came up with another idea with this tower that we're going to add to it on there. So the Kickstarter's funded. The stretch goals are starting at $600. I think the Kickstarter was going to fund at $550. So the first stretch goal happens at $600, and I think it's $15 away from that now. And that's the radar dish. That's what's sitting right up here, in the front. And so give me just a minute. I just want to bring the camera a little bit closer to the table and kind of arrange this stuff so I can talk about it in front of the camera and then, move it over some, and we will, I'll be right back. Okay, the first piece I want to start off with today is the Thorn piece. And so this piece comes in a couple different configurations. The first thing I want to show you is this is the actual Thorn itself. This is printed in 2 pieces. It's split right down the middle, and it's got little square pinholes that are reference holes for gluing so that you can glue this piece together. But this piece right here is its own little standalone piece on there. So we talked about that. We talked about scatter terrain. We wanted to make sure that we had good scatter terrain in this Kickstarter, because it's nice on your gaming table or your RPG table when you got stuff that takes up not a huge footprint, but actually takes up a footprint and has some meaning while it's on the table. So then he designed this pool. So this is the Thorn pool right here. So if you look, and this is where Eric is really going to shine in his future Kickstarters, is because of the ZBrush on there. You know, he's a digital sculptor, so these organic designs and things like that, I mean, you'd be shocked how fast, I was shocked how fast that came together, because I was like, holy cow. So we went through one iteration on this piece right here, and that, you know, that was just one of the overhang pieces right here that may have caused a little problem, but I really like the final result of that Thorn piece. And so then I was like, okay, it's got the pool, but I said, how about we have a smaller piece, so if you want to put multiples on a table, or if you want to put a row of them on a table where, you know, you're actually going down the row. And so that's where these came in. And this is a 2-piece. All it does is it's the same exact Thorn that was next to the pool, and this piece right here is just a smaller version, you know. So this is like a little outcropping somewhere, and basically it just sits down and locks in over top of the Thorn. And so these are super quick to print, they're super cheap to print, and you could fill your table up with this organic environment. And you know, the next Kickstarter, maybe when we hit some stretch goals here, there may be some more organic variations and stuff coming out, but I thought this was really neat, because this gives you, it's not a huge footprint, a figure will fit on it, and we'll use, I'm going to use some GW figures here for scale reference, you know, so this is out of my personal collection, no affiliation to GW or anything like that. But so this is a Scout, you know, sniper, so that is him in scale, you know, against the Thorn, to give you an idea of size. You know, here's a Primaris Marine, you know, for size wise, so it gives you an idea of how big these are. So let me take this out, you know, and I can put it right behind that Primaris Marine, so it gives you an idea of the footprint that it's going to take up on the table on there. And I'll do that with the pieces that we're going. I'll just use, you know, I'll reference, you know, the size with these. So that's the Thorn. So you got the Thorn pool again, which is right here, and then you've got your little standalone Thorn pieces that are out there. Like I said, all these, you know, none of this is glued in, it just sits down over the top of the piece right there. So I'm going to move these off to the side. And so then we've got some of the bigger scatter terrain. Again, we're staying with the organic stuff. And so these are the eggs. So, you know, these are the sacks, you know, that these Thorns probably spawn out of and stuff like that. So this is the same print. It's just in 2 different colors of PLA. And everything on the table here is either printed on a Maker Gear M2 or a Maker Gear M3. You know, so this is, you know, this is just a 1-piece print. It'll fit right on your printer. Give you an idea what it looks like right there. And so this is a great looking piece. It has the broken rocks on it. You can see like the space vegetation on the side and things like that. So again, really good looking piece. It prints really quick. There's your Primaris Marine for scale on there, so you can see what it looks like. You know, I made sure that, you know, he's got it so figs can actually stand on this piece and they don't fall off all over the place, you know, like some terrain if it gets too vertical and stuff like that. So we purposely tried to make, you know, a pretty level ground plane on there for figures to stand on. So that's your egg piece. And then here, this is like egg 2 is what we call in the file right now. I don't know if he has an official name for it yet, but this is almost like a venting egg, you know, so you could if you could picture this just putting out noxious gas or poisonous gas as the planet's being overrun, by what was left behind by that hive fleet and stuff like that. So yeah, this is your organic side. So this is all part of the base Kickstarter right here. So in your package, and he purposely priced some of the stuff out, that you can buy if you just like the Thorn package here. You can buy that by itself, because we realize there's some big name Kickstarters that are right here on the doorstep. But when this is all said and done, when I'm done with the video, for the $48 for the everything pledge plus all the stretch goals on there, it's a heck of a collection. But even if you just want a single piece, they're average $16 and up for a smaller set of stuff. So definitely take a look. Obviously the link to the Kickstarter will be in the show notes, and if you think you'd like something like this on your table, definitely take a look. All right, so I'm going to move this stuff off to the side here, and then I'll be right back. Next thing I want to show you is the tower. I want to get this early up in the video just so you can see how awesome this thing is going to be on your table. If you take a look at it, this is the main tower right here, and then you've got your two side pieces over here. These are lifts. So what they are is they're just a step up to the this would be a lift up to the tower itself. What we found when I went to print it the other night, that this exceeded the 6 inches of the print bed, so he made another version. Eric made another version over here that does accommodate the 6-inch print bed, but I told him leave this version as part of the package also. That way, it's got a good stylized look and stuff on it like that, and so your Marine would sit on the platform like that to give you a scale size wise. So what this is made up of multiple parts, and so I don't have anything glued on this right now except these two pieces, because they print in half. So let me show you this first so you can, and the reason that stuff does this is Eric is sculpting all this detail into these pieces that you see on the side. So I'm going to take off the side of one of the towers. This is on the tower leg. This prints flat like this, and then it has the pinholes so that you can do the alignment when you glue it onto the side of the tower on there. But if you take a look at how where the digital sculpting is coming in, it really makes a big difference. And so like the lifts, they print in two pieces. You can kind of see the line straight through the middle. And then same thing, it has the reference holes for the pins. And then this is a floor tile for the tower, but it also goes on here, so you can glue it on here. And there's different versions of these floor tiles too, with different textures on it. So if you want, if you see that texture, I happen to like that texture, so that's what I used. And both the same way, even with the version that's over 6, it prints in half. But take a look at the detail that's sculpted onto this. So the tower itself is 2 levels on there, and what's nice with this is I'm going to pick the top level right off. You can take this top level and you can put it on the table and use it like that. So it's it'll easily hold a unit of scouts up there. Your Primaris Marine is right here for scale wise. So this can sit on the table as its own feature. And as you see, it's sat in these, and like I said, these two aren't hooked on. The other one, has the pins in it. So as you see, it sits just like that. And these just slide in and out. They slide in here like that. And I'm gonna press, you cannot, when that's locked in and that's just friction locked in, your figures are fine on there, trust me. And so these would go here like this. What I mentioned earlier in the video that we came up with an idea today was if you just want to print one level. So if you're running the tower, or maybe you just want to print this bottom level, I said, let's come up with some stuff to put in these keys. So he's going to make a control console. He had a couple other ideas. So he's actually working on that today, that if you just want to run the base tower by itself, he'll have items that you can drop in these flat spots to actually theme this all together. So I thought that was a good idea we came up with on the fly talking today. And so if you look at, I'm just going to put this back in here. You see it drops right in. Oh, let me show you how this goes together. So this tile pops right out of the top, just like that, sets right down in there, and these just slide in. So if you see when you print, they just push in. There's no glue here. So that's how this tower locks together, and it's like that on both the top and the bottom level on there. So it goes like that. I take this, I drop it in the top, you're good to go. You know, so if you want different floor tile patterns, you know, if he comes up with more stuff and more stretch goals, that adds more patterns. Future Kickstarters, if they use the same type of tile design on there or something like that, you know, so there's a lot of possibilities. So you don't necessarily have to glue this together. The only thing you glue is these to the outer part of the legs, because that's not going to change. So let's talk scale. So if I put your Primaris Marine right there, he's good to go. Can you see that? Let me push that forward. Okay. That's a Primaris Marine. Like I said, I've already had the Scout on top. Primaris Lieutenant, he's got a gun up. No problem at all. Fits right in there scale-wise. So, you know, he's right there. And just to make it interesting, Mr. Gilman himself, he fits in there also with no issues height-wise. So to give you an idea of the height, it'll take up to that, you know, Primark on there. So that gives you an idea of the height. So, you know, if you end up having something higher, you know, like a big Tyranid swarm or something like that, that's why we have this option that you can run this tower, you know, by itself with just the feature pieces on top. So a lot of versatility in this tower. How's it do, you know, if you want to put an aircraft? So here's my Stormhawk Interceptor, you know, flight base fits right on top and no issue at all. So I mean, I can rotate that flight base all the way around on top of that piece. So definitely, you know, it accommodates, you know, a certain wargaming footprint on there, but I just wanted to spend some time on the tower because this is a really good piece that has a lot of versatility into it, more than just the one configuration that it's in. All right, so let me move the tower, come back with another section of stuff. Be right back. All right, so what's on the table now is I think the rest of the base pledge items, I'm pretty sure, on there. I know there's one little piece that goes onto this right here. I'll talk about that in a second. But the first thing to talk about is the bridge. You know, I like stuff that has elevations. You know, you want to get your game off the floor. You know, that's something that Warlayer does really well in his Kickstarter, you know, Andrew. You know, and I like some elevation in there. So the tower and this bridge right here. I was shocked when Eric sent back the design for this bridge, because I was like, holy cow, dude. You talk about some design work on here. So the first thing is these tiles right here. These are your standard floor tiles. So I'm going to show some more of those in just a minute, but I think he's got 6 different designs for floor tiles. So you can take any one of those patterns and you just drop it here on this bridge and it sits right in there. You know, so the next thing is, if you take a look at it, there's no glue on this at all. All this is press fit together. So on the outside, we have these armored plates, and these pop right off. And you'll see these pins right here that they go into. And so this plate has a couple, you know, configurations on the back. And so when it ends up happening, you know, you can put 4 pins. I just have 2 pins in there right now. You can do the armored plate up or down. You know, so you can have it like this, or you can put the plates like this. I just chose to put them down like that. If Eric decides to do more designs of these plates, which I think he is, or maybe a Kickstarter further on, not a Kickstarter, but a possible stretch goal, but they would just snap right in here. So some variants can come along for this bridge, you know, but these legs, you know, the things that hold the tiles are right here. They just press down into these slots. So if I take this apart, you know, you just print those 4 pieces and they're already referenced, and you just push them down in that slot, and then you put your tile on there. Yeah, and so I was like, holy cow, this thing is designed awesome. So you got 3 struts that go across the bottom. You got 3 legs. I'm gonna take this one off also, so you can see. So you got 3 legs that go across the bottom. The middle leg is not required, you know, so it's actually optional if you want to keep some space open on it. But you know, if you want to put it on there, you can. I chose to. And then you have these pieces that go all the way across that lock all this stuff together. And like I said, this is all press fit. There is no glue in here at all. So this was a really, really nice piece. And so you can print multiples of these together and kind of, you know, just line them up. Let me flip it around. Because what I'm going to do is throw these floor tiles back on there. Let's find my sniper again to give you an idea of scale. We'll put my Space Marine right here to give you a sense of scale. And so there you go. So that's the bridge. It's a great looking piece. I really like it, and it's part of the base pledge of the Kickstarter. The next thing are crates. You can never have enough crates. If you're a sci-fi Kickstarter, you got to have a crate. So these are the crates that Eric came up with on there. They're smaller, and if you look at the detail, let me rotate this around. There is detail all the way around this thing. Yeah, and so what he did is he split it, and I'm going to pull this one apart because this was a test print, and so you print them like this, and this one is overscaled. This was a mistake on my part, but I kept it, you know, because there's nothing wrong with it. It just won't have the ledge on the top. But so it's printed. Both pieces are printed flat, and then there's glue pins right there that you just put those in. You line them up, glue it together, you know. And so that's the crates that we got, and these crates do stack on top of each other, just like that. And they also have a platform that sits on top, and the platform prints flat on your bed like this, and then you just flip it over and you put it on top of the bridge. And then, you know, you can line them up this way. And then this right here is a ramp. Now, the back of the ramp, right here's the ramp. If you see the detail blows me away on this stuff. I printed this morning, you know, so, I mean, this is great on here. Now the back, there's a piece that goes on the back that goes down to the ground. So this was the original prototype, you know, testing out, you know, the shape and the initial scale. And so this piece right here is part of the ramp. I just didn't have time to print it, you know, to put it on here. So that is part of the Kickstarter. But this ramp, it just slides right up, you know, to the crate. So it's just a pathway up. You can do, you know, pathway down with another ramp on there. And again, this ramp uses the standard floor tiles. So if I wanted to grab a couple of these, I can just sit there and I can just drop those in, you know, just like that. So some versatility in your pieces, you know. But the ramp and the crates, again, it's part of the Everything Pledge for the initial Kickstarter, and it can also be purchased in their own like mini pledge on there. So great stuff. Love the detail on these. Let me show this again. Yeah, so you can get a good look at the sculpting. All right, next thing is the floor tiles. Floor tiles and the modular tiles. All right. So I would like to thank the guys at Print Terrain Group, because we posted the initial, when the Kickstarter launched, I shared out the initial post on there, and the guys are like, hey, is that OpenLock compatible? And we're like, no, it's not. We didn't want to pay for a license on a first Kickstarter. And so they said, well, you shouldn't have to. You just get issued one from Matt at Printable Scenery. And so we're like, are we sure on that? And Matt came back and responded to the thread and said yes. And so Eric emailed Matt Matt emailed him the agreement, and I know Matt's getting ready to launch the next printable scenery campaign, but we're just waiting on him to send back the the little printable scenery open lock license so we can put it on the page. But for all intents and purposes, where we were going with the pin system, as soon as it comes back that it's open lock, we will switch it over. And so I'm just throwing these out here to show you the different designs that you're going to get. And there's also going to be half walls. Not sure if they're a stretch goal or not, and I know that there's battle damage too. So I know for a fact these that I'm putting out in front of me are all part of the main pledge. So again, check the Kickstarter page, because Eric will be updating stuff as we go, because right now we've met the funding goal and he's going to start knocking stuff out. It's extra stuff on there. So it's a great campaign to jump in on. And so these right here, these are your L walls, your corner walls, and floor tiles. So the back designs are all the same on here. So it's all kind of, well, they're all the same for the L walls all have this design on the back. And then they have different, floor tiles that'll match up with the individual floor tiles up here also. And then the L walls have this design and then this design also on the back. And again, the base plate is one of the designs down here. So if there's a particular design you like a diamond plate, or you like this checkered pattern right here, you can just print a plate full of those and be good to go. I can fit, I'm a Maker Gear, I can fit 12 of these at a time on there. So I start it up when I get home from work, they're done by the next morning, rinse, repeat on there. So that's the floor tile system. Should be an open lock system. By the end of this campaign, we're just waiting on the license to come back from Matt at Printable Scenery. So I do appreciate him doing that, being able to license out his stuff on there, that open lock system. So that's a big deal. So I do really appreciate that on there, and you've seen his stuff all over this channel forever. So the quality that Printable Scenery puts out, and so we do appreciate that. So I'm going to pick up these tiles here, and then we'll move on to the stretch goals real quick, and we'll talk about the licensing option, and that'll be it. And be right back. Let's talk about some of the stretch goals. These are the stretch goals that I know about for sure on there. So during the point I've been recording this video, we've already passed the first stretch goal. So the first stretch goal is just $50 beyond the initial pledge, and that is the radar dish, and that's right here. This was something early in the campaign. Eric put this in and designed it at the end and kind of showed me, because I like themed areas. And so a communications area was something I was really big about and harping about at the beginning on there. And so he made this radar dish. And so it's a 2-piece print. And so this piece right here, it prints flat down on your print bed just like that. There it is printed on the back. And you print that, and then you print this little piece right here, and it just sits right down in it. This is, again, super filament efficient. It's cheap to print, and it's quick to print. You can bust out a bunch of these in a week if you want, if you want them for your different gaming tables and stuff like that. And so this is the same dish. I just printed 2 of them out because I definitely going to put these in my terrain bucket. As soon as this video is over, I'm going to pack some of this stuff up so I can actually get it out there on my table and use it for our games. So that's the first stretch goal. That was at $600. We're already past $600. Matter of fact, we're closing in on the second stretch goal, which Eric told me is going to be at $650, and that is the vault. And that's what this is right here. This is a 6-piece print. I don't have any of it glued, so I can show you on here. I do have the middle piece glued. So what happens is this piece, just like the Thorn, prints in half, and then it has the reference holes, and you just glue it together, and this becomes the centerpiece for the vault area. And what this is, if you envision that this is like an armored door, and so then this will swing up and out, and inside here is going to be your portal, basically. Think Stargate. So this is, you can put these on the world, you can use them in your game, that you can teleport from here to here on the table or something like that. So that's just some different ideas on how to use this. And again, for scale wise, there's our sniper. Here's our Primaris Marine to give you an idea of what they're going to look like next to these. And I'll also put them over here by the satellite dish. So, it gives you an idea on the table. I think the scaling is right on. Obviously, you don't want a 5-foot radar dish. We're trying to keep almost all the prints here for that 6x6 printer, even though I think the kind of standard printer nowadays is 8x8. But, for those, we wanted to accommodate those that had a 6x6. And so, but I think this dish looks great and stuff like that. So the radar dish is already unlocked. The vault, I can't imagine not being unlocked. It's only $12 away from it right now, hitting the $650. The next damage goal is going to be the damage terrain. So he's got, in ZBrush, he's already built his bullet hole brushes and things like that. So now we're going to start getting battle damaged terrain on there. And I know he's doing half walls too, because we're going to be able to use that as a roof for some of these buildings. I'm not sure where that's falling in though. So again, check the Kickstarter page and he'll be sending out the updates, as we hit the different stretch goals and things like that. So, 600, 650 for the vault. Damage train was the next one. And then the missile silo. Right before I started recording, I got to see the prototype on that. It is going to be awesome to have this missile silo as part of the train. It'll be another stretch goal on there. So it's looking great. I'm sure I'm going to get that on the printer here maybe tomorrow or the next day. Hopefully, we'll see when he gets done. But I know he was working on that today, and we'll get the test prints up and we'll drop those in the war thread in the 3D printed train Kickstarter group. And I'll also send pictures of it out through my Twitter account, and he'll send them out through the updates on the Kickstarter. And so then, so that's where we're at. That's the stuff I know about. And I know that we got other ideas that were jotted down through this. I know Kirk has thrown ideas in there too. So looking forward to myself to see what's coming also. And the last thing I want to talk about is the Kickstarter license. So this is something I brought up early in the campaign, that if I was running a campaign, this is how I would do it on there. The ability to print and sell some prints, this is a super niche market. You look at these big Kickstarters, you're looking at 200 people tops on these high-end ones, maybe 300 people, and that's worldwide. 300 people worldwide getting a set of files on there. And so what I said I would do is just give a limited number of give a limited number of printing licenses. No royalties, anything like that. You just pay for the license. It's good for a year, and you have the option to renew it a year from now. Like printable scenery, you'll put a little placard on there saying, hey, you're a licensed printer. And so what he's done on here is made 10 licenses available. They're $100 a piece. The first basically $50 of that is the all-in pledge. So you get, that covers your pledge also. And the other $50 is commercial printing rights. So if you want to sell them on eBay, if you want to put them on your web store and stuff like that. So a couple of those licenses have already gone on there. So there's 8 left. And like I said, Kirk and I, for collaborating with Eric on this Kickstarter, also have a license. For me, it's not about mass producing to sell terrain. I sell stuff to keep filament under the table, to keep videos and terrain coming off my printers for the channel. So if I print up a bunch of Thorns, throw them on a box, throw them up on eBay, say, all that goes to filament on here. And so the people that have been around on this channel know that. If you're new here, just checking out this Kickstarter, that's what I do with the money that I make off this channel. It all goes to filament, and I print. So that's the vault. We got the, for scale on there. So that covers the licenses. So that's pretty much the Kickstarter. It's been super fun doing this with Eric. At the beginning, watching that transition from the digital sculpting for a SLA high Stratasys type printing environment, doing, high-end busts, to, hey, this is tabletop terrain. We're playing war games, we're playing RPGs. Watching that workflow develop, and now that he's got that flow locked in, and how fast this stuff is coming out. So we collaborate probably every night, at least 6 nights a week on Google Hangouts, and we talk about the designs. He shows me designs. I throw ideas around on there. And so this is hopefully the first of many Kickstarters in the war, Worlds Overrun gaming system on there. So I appreciate you guys watching. Definitely, if you're thinking about jumping in, go ahead and take a look. Even if there's only a few pieces, a few certain pieces that you want on there, jump up on there and grab them, because this is absolutely going to be the cheapest way to get them. If you do 3D print and you want to, sell a few pieces and add something to your commercial catalog on here, jump up on there, grab one of those commercial licenses. It's good for a year after the stuff has been delivered, and you're seeing right in front of me. The base pledge is here, so I've been printing this stuff out now for about 3 weeks. And again, like I said, it's all been printed. Everything here is at 200 micron. It's come off a Maker Gear M2 and a Maker Gear M3. So, if you're new to the channel and you like, this type of stuff, if you like seeing reviews on Kickstarter terrain, I highly encourage you to subscribe. If you're one of my subscribers, this is what I do now. It's the tabletop terrain, and if you're a designer, this isn't just about my stuff on here. If you're a designer and you like what you see here, and maybe you want to get a little bit, if you got some stuff you want to show, or maybe get on the channel, I'm going to be going to a Made on Maker Gear series. So if it's just a piece or two that points to your collection, let me know. I'll put it in the Made on Maker Gear videos, where we show off 1 or 2 pieces from different people, in a group, in one 20-minute video. So I appreciate it. The link to the Kickstarter is down there. It's already been funded. I thank the people that have already backed it. The guys from the terrain Facebook groups, great guys, great stuff. All the other designers that have done, that have led the way on this, on 3D printable terrain. Thank you, because this wouldn't be here without you guys from a couple years ago. I mean, really, watching these new designers come up, I get jealous, because I so want to be able to do this myself on there, but I'm sure happy showing it off to you. So link to the Kickstarter below, like the video, share the video, and we'll see you soon with a new one. Thanks.